everybody, welcome to Hat Hole Home Video, where the video store lives forever, or at least an aging child of the 80s nostalgia desperately clings forever. Today we're talking about a classic from 1990, a movie that I think criminally has not achieved that sort of cult movie status the way other movies that of its ilk have achieved. We're talking today about 1990's DARKMAN. Do we have a short clip that is for review purposes and completely falls within the category of fair use? Do we have one of those?
Crime has a new enemy, and justice has a brand new face.
He's a cockroach. You think you're killing him? And he pops up someplace else.
There's a light that shines on every human being. But one. From director Sam Raimi. DARKMAN.
Oh, that's the stuff. Oh, I hope you don't mind, but it's a hot summer day. So I thought I might enjoy a Hamm's. Hamm's! It's for beer! It's my video store, I can do what I want to. Look, DARKMAN, okay? It's directed by Sam Raimi, and it came out in 1990, so it really came out at, I think, what most people would call Sam Raimi's golden age, his peak. It's The Evil Dead 2, it's Army of Darkness. Can't think of what else was kind of in the mix during that time. But DARKMAN is so tonally reminiscent of especially Army of Darkness. I would say anybody who is an Army of Darkness fan, any budding Sam Raimi fans out there, maybe you got into the Ash versus the Evil Dead TV show, and you're discovering all this stuff. You're discovering this back catalog. A movie that would be easy to overlook would be DARKMAN. I highly recommend, excuse me, you give it a shot. You give it a look. Because if you're a fan of especially Army of Darkness, I refuse to believe you would not enjoy DARKMAN. So here's the basic plot. Liam Neeson, Dr. Peyton something. Westlake. What? That sounds weird, but I think that's what it is. But we're saying Liam Neeson. So Liam Neeson is a scientist. He's working on developing synthetic skin, which is fine, a noble aspiration. But he is dating a lady, Frances McDormand. It's shocking the high caliber of actor that's in this movie. They weren't high caliber at the time, but they went on to bigger and better things. And in the case of Liam Neeson, did bigger and better things and is now doing The Commuter.
Tell me about it. Tell me where you've hidden the money.
That was a pretty good Liam Neeson impression. So he's dating her. She is, I could never really tell if she's like a lawyer or just some kind of higher up within this company, but she figures out that the company she works for is into some kind of nasty wheeling and dealing, some shady stuff, and she confronts her boss about it, and her boss says, look, I'm a nice guy, and what's the problem with me? I like, what he says is, I have grand vision for, rejuvenating the city, all these grand construction projects, and to do business in a city like this, you have to do shady things, and you have to grease the palms of shady people. And it's means to an end, right? Okay, that's fair. I don't completely disagree with that point of view. Frances McDormand is kind of on the fence. She's like, I sort of see what you're saying, but this still smells a little bit. And of course, spoiler alert, this dude is not just in bed with shady people, he is casting plenty of shade on his own. So he puts the hit out. She's got this memorandum. She's got like a printout that's a single sheet of paper that apparently proves everything. Well, he wants that piece of paper. So he sends goons to retrieve it. Now, of course, it just so happens that Liam Neeson lives above his laboratory. But it's like a real laboratory. He has like assistants and, you know, co-workers and stuff. But they go to get the memorandum. Instead of like specifically finding it, if I remember right, they don't look for the memorandum. They just blow the thing up. Or no, they find it. I'm sorry. I think they find it. Yeah, they find it. They find it. But in any case, they blow the building up with Liam Neeson inside. He gets blown out the building. He is horrifically burned. He washes up like he gets blown out of the building like into the pier, like because it's the building's like an old warehouse on the water. He ends up in the hospital. The hospital doesn't know who he is. It's anonymous. Frances McDormand thinks he's dead. You know, they have a funeral for him. He's in the hospital with horrific burns, and there's a quick little scene where the doctor explains that they had to sever the connection in his brain to his pain receptors because the pain he would be in for the rest of his life would be so excruciating. It would be like, you know, there would be no quality of life. But because of this, so he feels no pain, but it also disconnects, like, the emotion receptors are all screwed up now too. So he can, they say like he'll be prone to bouts of rage and alienation and all this stuff. So, well, he escapes the prison. Oh, and also he's super strong because severing the nerves means like his adrenaline, he can't, like his body can't tell that adrenaline is pumping, so it's just pumping all the time. So he's got like adrenaline strength all the time. So he escapes from the hospital. I'm probably going a little too in-depth, but he escapes from the hospital. He's all burned. He wants to get revenge on these criminals that you know, blew him up. And an important piece of the puzzle is the fake skin that he was developing would only last for 99 minutes, and then it would on the molecular level would collapse, disintegrate. But he figured out in the dark, the skin lasts longer. Who knows how much longer, but it lasts longer. So in the daylight, so what he does is he basically makes masks of people, like with this like synthetic skin but realistic skin, and he can put masks on. He can look like anybody, but he only has 99 minutes out in the day before the mask collapses. So he starts getting revenge on the criminals. He starts looking like the criminals and framing them for things. He's doing all this stuff. I won't go into it further than that. That was plenty of spoiler alerting. But it's surprisingly clever. The things he does with the masks, he's not just putting on a mask and robbing a bank, whatever. It's a little more clever than that. He's also made a mask of himself before he was horrifically burned, and he's trying to reconnect with Frances McDormand, but he has this 99-minute window that's a problem, and he also has this other problem, which is flying into insane rages. That's a big problem, ladies. If your guy's flying into insane rages, cut that cord. Oh, the first hams always tastes disgusting, but you go down the line, they get better. So here's the scoop. Here's the scoop about this movie. Great, real fun plot, real fun idea. Liam Neeson is probably the most sort of whimsically entertaining performance you've ever seen from Liam Neeson. It's very weird. It's very Army of Darkness. It's very... You can tell Sam Raimi loves Bruce Campbell, and I got the feeling in certain scenes that Sam Raimi was imagining Bruce Campbell playing this role, and he was saying to Liam Neeson, like, do it like this. And he was basically telling him, do it like how Bruce Campbell would do it. There's a part in the movie where he's getting frustrated, and like he's still trying to make the synthetic skin permanent, and he's getting frustrated, and he starts going,
See the dancing freak! Just $5! See the dancing freak!
and it is so Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness, it's not even funny. Like, I get the feeling Sam Raimi just showed a clip from Army of Darkness to Liam Neeson and was like that, do it like that. But it's really great. So you've got like, again, all I'm going to do is compare it to Army of Darkness for the most part. But I should say this too. It's 1990 or 91, 1990. So obviously you had the big success of Batman 1989 before that, and not only do you have Sam Raimi directing, and he's directing a movie that's very clearly trying to pull some of that Batman 1989 success over to it, because it has, in a lot of ways, it has a lot of Batman parallels. It also has, visually, it has some of those kind of Tim Burton-y Batman parallels as well. A lot of it takes place at night. A lot of those like steamy streets that the 89 Batman had. But also, Danny Elfman does the score to Darkman. So it straight up has the score of 89 Batman. Did I say Darkman? Now I'm getting confused. Darkman or Batman? So Darkman has a very Batman 89's-esque score, musical score, because it's the same composer. I also think, not just for comparison's sake, but the Danny Elfman score in Darkman goes a long way with telling you sort of what the hell this movie, like how you're supposed to feel about it, because it's weird. It's very silly and comical. It has that Army of Darkness sort of fun vibe to it, but it's R-rated. Like, there's a lot more brutality to it than like a Batman movie or an Army of Darkness movie. And it would be very easy to not understand, like again, Liam Neeson's playing it very over the top, in like a borderline absurd kind of way in scenes. So it's but then it's dark and it's serious, and it would be very easy to not be able to make sense of all of this different stuff swirling around. But it's the Danny Elfman score is what really pulls it all together and says, no, you have to think of this like you're watching a comic book, like you're reading a comic book. It's serious stakes, but sort of whimsical visuals, like over-the-top visuals, over-the-top characters. The score is what kind of lets you know how you're supposed to take this movie. But if it had like a serious score, I don't think I would really be that into it. I don't think I would understand the full picture nearly as well. So you've got Sam. So score, and then just very quickly too, talking about those Sam Raimi visuals. This Darkman it gets so Sam Raimi-y in patches. I would say pretty consistently, but there are patches that are so over-the-toply Sam Raimi. They're absurd. They're his kind of the way he does camera angles, the way he plays with film speed. I can't even really go into a lot of it, but it is visually, this is a movie, like the parts where Liam Neeson goes into a rage are insane. They're legitimately the craziest thing you've ever seen. And they're the scenes that I think would be hardest to accept if you didn't have a score that really kind of clued you into the tone that the movie was going for, because they are bizarre and comical, and they could almost look like they were in a full comedy, but they also look like they could be in like a complete mind fug of a movie that, like, if you watched when you were high, you might jump out a window. You know what I mean? It's bizarre, but it's Sam Raimi at his peak with a Danny Elfman score, making a movie that is trying to be 1989 Batman, mixed with a little RoboCop, I would say, mixed with a big dose of Army of Darkness, and, not to spoil it, but there is a Bruce Campbell cameo within the movie, as well as Ted Raimi. If you know Ted Raimi, he was in Xena Warrior Princess. He shows up in almost every Sam Raimi movie that there is. He has a kind of a substantial side character role in this, and I like him a lot. I watched a lot of Xena Warrior Princess back in the day, and Joxer the Mighty was a character that I always really liked. So I always liked him showing up and stuff. So once again, Darkman. I cannot recommend this movie to you highly enough, especially if you're somebody who is into the Evil Dead movies, Army of Darkness, into Sam Raimi movies. It's a movie that gets overlooked. It's a movie that is sort of forgotten, and I do feel like when I look around, there is not that cult standing for Darkman the way a lot of other movies have, and the way I think Darkman truly deserves. So yeah, spread the word, folks. Darkman, get out there, get on the streets. No, you know what? Don't get out on the streets for Darkman. I feel like people with signs that say hashtag Darkman right now in the current political climate, that could be taken differently, and we don't want that. We don't want to get our little fun here into those big old messes outside these walls. We like to stay in here where it's safe. You and me, we're just watching movies. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here because I've dug myself a really bizarre hole that I never thought I would ever step into talking about the movie Darkman. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Please, for the love of all the fallen video stores, please hit that subscribe button and help spread the word. We hang out, we talk movies. Let other people know. Let's get everybody in under the tent here. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see all you dirty dogs and alley cats on the flip side. Bye bye.